What's up, everybody? Welcome back into The Lawyer You Know. We have a verdict in ASAP Rocky's criminal trial that is going to be read here very soon. We will watch it, react to it, and answer questions together, as we love to do on this channel when a trial ends. So let's get to it. All right, so what I am going to do is go ahead and put the Court TV stream up here next to me small. Can we do it like that? Yeah, there we go. We'll put it up there. This is as live as I can get it. Actually, no, it's not. All right, it's as live as I can get it now. You guys can let me know if they're in the courtroom and we can make sure we see it. If we need to go to a different channel on the YouTube page, the Law and Crime or whatever, we will do that. Yeah, a lot of streaming in one day for your boy. Okay, this is a lot for him. So everybody hit the like button. Okay, we're back here again because the bat signal was in the air. I'm still getting Instagram messages actually right now from people telling me the verdict is in Phoebe Juliet, Amanda Valencia, Maria Lebrecht, Amanda Hebert, Pierre Angela Parker, Kim Ripley, everybody here sending me messages, telling me the verdict is in, so I appreciate it. Kelsey, I don't know if you're listening or if you can, go up and throw up a poll to see what everybody's vote would be if they were on this jury. Do you think ASAP Rocky will be guilty or not guilty? And while we wait for that poll to come through, I'll tell you the way I look at this case. And I think it's kind of simple that there is a lot of different aspects of reasonable doubt in this case. But I really think it's going to come down to, which this isn't rocket science, and I've said this in so many cases, and a lot of you guys have heard me say it, but it comes down to the parties and who do you believe. And the party is usually plaintiff and defendant in a civil case, victim and defendant in a criminal case. The victim is the only one that testified. The defendant didn't, as is his right, of course. Does the jury believe the victim? And from my perspective, that's what this case rests on. And that's what Taco Pina, the defense lawyer, even said. And he hammered it. That was his whole point, is he's not credible. He's going to perjure himself. Maybe did not say the prosecution was okay with that because they're all about winning. He is going to try to extort ASAP Rocky out of money. And when it came down to it, I was so far in the other direction, not believing what ASAP Relly had to say, that I started to think about the other evidence and talk about it like we did together, listening to closing arguments. You have the bullet casings that were found by Relly that were not found by law enforcement. You have no proof really from law enforcement that a shooting even occurred. You don't have a weapon. They say it's a prop gun. Here's the thing too. I don't have to believe it's a prop gun to vote not guilty. Okay. I don't have to. You don't have to believe that. It's kind of like the Karen Reed case. You don't have to go conspiracy if you get to the point where they just didn't prove it. Period. They just didn't prove it. So if you're at they just didn't prove it, you don't need to even try to see if it was a prop gun in this case. Self-defense, some comments about self-defense. Could it have been self-defense? Sure. Could it have not been self-defense? Sure. Could it have been nothing but a scuffle and he pulls out a prop gun and Relly sees as an opportunity to make money? I think that's possible as well. I think at the end of the day, it really just comes down to, it's hard for me to take a case where ASAP Relly is the victim. The state puts that type of a witness up on the stand to prove their case, and we're convicting somebody and sending them to prison. Mommy Source, how long have they been deliberating? Is it 4 hours? I'm not exactly positive when it officially started. Does anybody know the exact amount of time that they've been deliberating? The verdict is supposed to be dropped at 7:20. My time, 7:20, 4:20 their time, and it's already 4:21. So we will see when they actually come out. Peter, you're the GOAT. Thanks. Thank you, Noni. And verdict has not been announced yet. Such a short deliberation time, not guilty verdict. Short deliberation can mean either, right? What I like to say, so usually I would say the statistics say a short, quick verdict usually means guilty. But what I've learned and kind of developed over time is a short verdict usually means the most obvious verdict. Usually that's guilty, right? a lot of these cases that it's a very obvious guilty verdict, they have a quick verdict. So people are telling me 3 hours and 53 minutes. And so from my perspective in this case, and the poll right now is like 80% not guilty, 20% guilty. So that makes me think that if we're talking about what a quick verdict means, I'm just going to refresh my screen and check a couple other streams. Yeah, it looks like we're still waiting. So a quick verdict would mean the most obvious verdict, which in this case might actually mean not guilty instead of guilty. Thank you to Lisa for gifting 5 memberships. Peter, have you ever taken your jacket off in court like defense attorney? Absolutely. Yeah. When the jury's not in there and it's a long day, I get hot very easily. Especially I tried a case during COVID where I felt like I was sweating the whole time because I had a mask on and I was breathing my own hot air basically. So I do tend to run hot, and I will take my jacket off all the time if it's just the jury, or if the jury's not there and it's just the judge, the lawyers. Happens all the time. Never been accused of taking steroids before. I need to get my gym game up a little bit. Nurse for God, thank you for gifting a membership. It looked like something just changed. Something just changed on the Court TV stream, which is good. Rebecca said, everybody like and subscribe to this channel as Peter works so hard to bring us these cases and updates. And handling so many at once is getting a little mind spinny here for me. But this case was really interesting to me. And some of you guys really dug into it. Some of you guys didn't watch it. To me, I found that it was really interesting. And then the lawyering was definitely something we could learn from. We could definitely learn from. People are saying that they're still waiting for Rocky to get to the courthouse. I will scan the Twitter's verse or X verse to see what we find here about this case. Yeah, it looks like he's not in there yet. Okay. So we will keep on rolling here. Peter, can we get a crew neck sweatshirt with LYK on it? So I actually have my crew neck Know Your Lawyer sweatshirt right there. We've got to have one, I would think. I know we have one that's a hoodie. Tangling with Gina, thank you for all your streaming today and keeping us up to date. Yeah, and you guys are helping keep me up to date because I was not paying attention. I just figured it would, pop up on my Twitter's verse and Instagram as it did when the verdict came down. I was actually washing dishes. So I put them down. I actually was going to start earlier. Then I found out the verdict was 7:20. So I finished washing the dishes. And now I'm here. My kids are taking baths and showers and all that good stuff. So afterwards, we're going to hang. Way too much reasonable doubt, Reese's mom said. I tend to agree with that. And yeah, I do think there are going to be some people that maybe didn't like the defense attorney, didn't like the prosecutor. Usually that hits home on the prosecutor more since they're the one that has the highest burden in the land beyond a reasonable doubt. I also think, I don't know if there are going to be a lot of jurors that like the prosecutor. I think there will absolutely be some jurors that like this defense attorney. I wonder if the whole, he doesn't know California law, or that's not how we do it here. And all of those type of comments. I don't know if a jury got the feeling he's an outsider. Just another question or another comment. Most of the time, jurors don't know if a lawyer's an outsider. We're kind of a melting pot. We got all sorts of transplants here in Florida, just like they do in New York, just like they do in California. And so it's not always obvious. Now, if you're in Alabama and you come with a New York accent, maybe it can be automatic or vice versa in different locations, but they don't always know right away. Bobby said could be a hung jury too, right? I don't think it could be because they didn't even come back with a single time telling the judge they couldn't come to a verdict. There was no Allen charge type of deal where they send them back and they say, you guys really need to be the ones to do this. Nobody's going to be more qualified. Because none of that happened, legally, I really don't think this could be a hung jury. And they said a verdict is in, which usually doesn't mean a hung jury. So I don't think that's what we're going to see here. Ashley Sissel, thank you so much for gifting memberships here as well. Christy Allison, Peter, what trial are you most looking forward to this year? I think that the Karen Read trial seems to have the most juice. The Brian Kohberger trial, I'm really interested in because I think there's so much we don't know about it, but it's such a brutally sad story and set of facts and circumstance. I mean, they all are. So I am looking forward to that one as well. It's probably between those two. Adelson's going to be interesting. Clenny, if it goes, will be interesting. There's a bunch going on, but it's probably Koberger or Reed. I am looking forward to seeing how different trial 2 is for Karen Reed. Do you like to prosecute / defend in a trial that depends on the testimony of one person? How hard is it to win? A lot of my cases, I think, do, because when I have personal injury cases that are civil cases, my client is usually the plaintiff. So it's their testimony versus the defendant's testimony. And so a lot of the trials do depend on that. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it. I don't want to simplify it to where you just have to call that person, because there's so much more that goes on. So we can't just say it's quite that simple. I'm usually okay with it, especially on the prosecution side, because I get to pick that person, not really pick that person. I get to choose whether I want to go forward on that case, right? If it's a plaintiff's case, I'm a private lawyer. If I believe you, I believe in your case in this cause, I will take it. And somebody just said 8:30 the verdict will be read. I hope that's not the case, because we cannot hang till 8:30. It doesn't say 8:30. We'll see. You guys let me know if it is 8:30. We'll figure something out. I want some lawyer, golf balls. Fun idea. Somebody made me some and sent them. But yeah, from my perspective, it doesn't bother me. And if I was a prosecutor, it should be the same way. You choose whether to go forward. If it's a bad witness, if it's not a believable witness, then you really should not go forward on that case. You really should not take that case to trial. That shouldn't be what's happening. Judge Jessica said Peter can't hang with us. So yeah, I got to hang out with my kids. 8:30. I hope it's not 8:30. Cecil said 7:30. Okay. 8:30 Eastern. I am Eastern, unfortunately. Yeah, I am Eastern. So hopefully it's not 8:30 Eastern. Welcome to Band Biz, to the membership. Tammy, definitely not much coverage in this case. Thank you for yours. Love the lawyer you know. 8:30 Pacific? No way. I'm getting a lot of different reports here. A lot of different reports. What's happening in the OnlyFans? What's happening in the OnlyFans trial? That is continuing forward. We're going to see. Courtney, that's the Courtney Clenny case that I mentioned. So that one's going to be interesting. And we're going to have to wait and see how that all plays out. But it seems like it's going forward. There's still a lot to happen in that case. I would be surprised, actually, if it went to trial this year. Amanda, how long have they been deliberating? I think about 4 hours. Rebecca said, y'all got to go get the duffel bag. That was her winning, her trophy for winning the Lawyer You Know Fantasy Football League. Should we read anything into no jury questions? Again, what I think usually that means is the most obvious verdict is the verdict that they have in this case. That is usually what I read into quick verdicts and no jury questions. And I don't want to read too much into no jury questions. We can read a lot into jury questions themselves. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to check a couple other streams here. People are asking if it's delayed. Let's go and see other streams. I'm getting some texts as well that they're just waiting on Rocky. So right now I have Law and Crime and Court TV up. So, maybe you're saying the verdict is delayed. All right. Nikki, they're arguing with the judge and yelling from the prosecutor was a turnoff for me. Would have been hard to be a juror. I agree. And usually the chaos like that and where it feels like it's a little unprofessional, usually is not good for the prosecutor. Usually. And again, they have the burden of proof. Chris, the biggest fan of the Know Your Lawyer guy. Okay, now it says verdict to be read at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So we'll ride here and we'll see kind of where we go from there. Alexis Baltazar. Peter, I want the shirt you have on, but don't see it on the website. Also, we need a crew neck with small embroidered LYK in Old English. So this is the shirt I'm wearing now. Have to ask John about where it is. I don't know the answer there. Daybreak. Do you thinking DA had more pressure to prosecute because he's a celeb? Probably a little bit more. What I think really happens is once they start going down the road, it's hard to stop. It's hard for it not to happen. Emily D. Baker, don't forget the D, shoots me a text here and says, those in court say they are waiting on the defendant. The judge is going to be pissed. He usually says, stay within 15 minutes. And there are reports coming in my chat that say he's on a flight, which seems impossible for me. And like Emily just said, if he's going to be there for the verdict, it would be kind of strange for him to be on a flight. So I wouldn't necessarily expect that. Can or will the judge fine lawyers for conduct? Now, will they? I don't know, but they can. In most jurisdictions, they absolutely can. In Florida, they actually changed a lot of the sanction laws to say shall or must sanction and fine a lawyer for discovery violations X, Y, and Z, which some lawyers are not very happy about. You can imagine which lawyers hated that the most, right? Thank you, Love and Butter. You should check and see how the Jared Bridegan in Jacksonville heard today. The Gunnan is changing his story now. Okay. Yeah, honestly, there's so many cases going on. I'm trying to cover and stick with as many as I can. Did any of you guys watch the Gabby Petito documentary? If any of you guys watched the Gabby Petito documentary, let me know. I have started it. I'm going to post on Twitter about it. And I think I'm going to have JB Buno on from News Channel 8 or WFLA Channel 8 to talk about that because he dug into that one big time. So I think Bobby Miller said the juice is loose. Too soon? No, not too soon. Mary said the judge said they were giving all parties 90 minutes to get there. Okay. All right. Emily said it could take 20 minutes just to get into the courtroom or go up the elevators in that courthouse. Can Rocky get in trouble for this? I mean, can he? Yes. Is the judge going to do that? No, not at this point. Not at this point. Doreen, I agree. I felt the same way. I did. I felt the same way. It is brutally sad. It is brutally sad, but it was good. And I think there's a lot of positive things that come from it. And like kind of what the purpose is and why they wanted to do it. Thoughts on Blake Ryan on SNL, red carpet and joking? I think it's like what you do when you're confident or you want to at least portray confidence. Probably not what I would do. Again, to me, making a joke out of the situation when there's such serious allegations that are ongoing, I don't think, I know that's like what he does. He's funny. I would not advise that. Isn't that the Netflix one? Yes, that's on Netflix. I can't imagine they will take a father from two babies with so much doubt. Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't come into play, right? Any person, whether they're a father or mother, whether they have kids or not, brother, sister, whatever, aunt, uncle, it really shouldn't be about that. It should be about, did the state prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt? That's what it should really be about. Thanks for 2 lives and another video today. I forgot the ASAP Rocky video posted this morning. Thank you for reminding me. Amy Z, did you see what happened in the court this morning? Law and Crime posted it a few years ago. More back and forth between Lewin and defense. Are you talking about a different case? And then Amy Z with the correction, hours, not years. Was it with a different case, I assume? That would be my assumption. I know I was muted. I was talking to Maverick, who just walked into the pool house. He says hello. Erica Carlin and Gold Dust Woman. Welcome. Lindsay said, EDB and Peter, I'm friends with Gabby Petito's mom. If you want to talk to her, let me No, I can't imagine what Gabby Petito's family is going through, but I will say that so far the documentary, I think it's been really cool to see them and be able to tell her story in that way. EDB gifting 20 memberships. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Emily. We never had that second call, Emily, by the way, which I noticed. I was thinking about it last Friday. Emily came on, did the podcast, was awesome, gracious, crushed it, so fun. It's so easy doing podcasts with people like Emily, and it was awesome and so much fun. But we scheduled a call just to kind of catch up and talk about things in life. We gotta make that happen. Gotta make that happen. She's the best. How about the Karen Reed stuff today, Emily? How about that? Catch him outside. Capital City Kate, are the Depp lawyers still representing Relly in the civil suit? Will the civil case go forward if Relly loses this one? So Relly is not on trial here. I know it feels like he is, and I think that's the defense's goal, is to put Relly on trial and make this feel like a Relly trial. So from my perspective, I think that that's going to be important. People are saying that Rocky is there, and the Court TV thing just changed to say verdict is in. So it's a lower burden, obviously, in civil court. I will say, as a civil attorney who represents victims in this type of situation, his testimony would probably discourage a future civil case, and it would probably embolden Rocky to stand firm and not make any payments towards a settlement. But what do I know? Welcome, Christine. Angela said, Peter, not related, but do you still follow the Mavericks after what they did to Doncic? So I'll tell you, I'm like a huge, I don't really care about the Mavericks. Maverick likes the Mavericks. Obviously, that's not why we named him Maverick. Maverick's actually his middle name. George is his first name, which is my dad's name. But we also have a nephew named George, an uncle named George. My dad's name George. Trago, same exact name. So we call him Maverick, which is his middle name. And I love like trades and action and all that stuff. So I thought it was cool when I told Maverick when he woke up the next morning, he was like, what? Seriously? That sucks. He's like, because he loved Luka Doncic and he loved the Mavericks, obviously, because he's named after Magic. Whoa, my phone is like blinking all sorts of colors. No, it was on this trial. I'll send you on Instagram. Oh, yes, please do. Please do. We will check it out. Rocky is in the building, Janet said. Media is going to the courtroom now. Maybe we can get it read before 8:30. Maybe we can do a solid here. I see some people saying if Rocky is guilty, they have a chance with Rihanna. That reminds me of one of Maverick's friends said he hopes the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl so Taylor Swift dumps Travis Kelce because he has a crush on Taylor Swift. I was like, oh boy, look out, look out. Rocky just arrived. K-Wag said Peter Karen Reed filed a habeas hearing set 3-5. EDB got my merch today. Rocking the Law Nerd merch is always awesome. Maybe Emily is the one to read that 699-page docket. I think I volunteer Emily as tribute, and I think she would crush that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I feel like everything is just pointing and going towards this is going to just go towards trial number 2. That's really what I think is going to happen, which is not rocket science. It's not me being a savant by any means. Thank you, JCS. Adam K, give me the breakdown of the case in 5 sentences. So if you mean the Rocky case, we can do that. ASAP Rocky was with a bunch of his friends who also have ASAP nicknames, all part of a group. He doesn't like a guy named Relly. These are all the allegations. Relly hears him say something on the phone he doesn't like. They start texting, kind of like, meet me here, okay? Wish you would. They show up somewhere. There's, some dispute about Relly puts his hands on Rocky first or Rocky puts his hand on Relly. Then there's a dispute on whether Relly starts beating on one of Rocky's friends, or if Rocky pulls out a firearm and Relly's hiding behind one of his friends. Relly is the alleged victim. And then you can hear audibly on camera 2 pop, pop. And Relly says he's got a scrape on his finger. He says Rocky shot at him and hit him. And so he's being charged with assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Rocky says, first off, it was a prop gun, which I've got from a music video, and I carry it for protection. His friends testified it is in fact a prop gun. That's what he always does. Cops showed up to the scene, couldn't find any bullet casings, couldn't find any bullets lodged in anywhere. They show up like within an hour, but then Relly comes back to the scene 2 hours later, finds 2 shell casings that he says are from the shooting. And so he gives that to the cops. Rocky ends up having a magazine at his house. He has a different person, one of his employees testify. That's his magazine, not Rocky's. Rocky does carry a prop gun. That's what was used in the case. And Rocky gave the prop gun back. And if anything, if Rocky pulled this prop gun, he did it in self-defense of his friend that the victim was beating on. And that friend testified. There's also a $30 million lawsuit and some recorded conversations that can be spun to say that this is legitimate. It's a civil case, and Relly, the victim, does deserve money. But the defense is also saying this is extortion. It's all about money, and you can't really believe Relly. And without Relly's testimony, I really don't think that the cops or the prosecution can really prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Relly was impeached up and down, got in arguments, annoyed, cursing, yelling back and forth with the defense lawyer. And so whether or not the jury believes him, if this was a quick guilty verdict, that just means Joe Tacopina was wrong. And by saying just listen to Relly and do whatever, or put this whole case on Relly, and if they believe Relly and it's a quick guilty verdict, Tacopina was wrong and it was a miscalculation. I would be surprised too. I'll just say that. I know he would be surprised, but I would also be surprised if that's what happened. Yeah. He was impeached multiple times, we'll say. No Rihanna yet, people are saying. Okay. What's the celebration plan for hitting 500K? I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun. It's been kind of a slow crawl to get to 500K, so I don't want to jinx it. Hopefully we get there one day. If you guys all subscribe, that would obviously help. I think he's looking up to 15 years now. I can't remember. People are saying guilty probably. What I would say is the chat here voted 80% not guilty, 20% guilty. Sir, that was 14 sentences. Good point. That's fair. But for a lawyer, 14 is like 0. Rebecca, just an aside, but I'm going to a Bruins hockey game in 2 weeks. That's awesome. Are you a Bruins fan? Cowboys, Bruins, and you live in neither of those states. 8 to 10 years. Somebody said 24 years. Okay. All right. 24 years. I couldn't remember what it was. Thoughts on getting Turtle Boy on a live? So I will say when it comes to Turtle Boy, I thought he did a good job on that interview. And I know that people don't like his style. I just want to make sure to try to focus in on the issues as much as I can. And I think whether he tries to or not, or for better or for worse, things take a turn, side conversations, side things come up for people's hatred or love for him. I really want to keep it about the Karen Read case, about the legalities of it as much as I absolutely can. And that's what I'm going to do best to do when it comes to that. Peter, have you watched Presumed Innocent yet? Yes, I have. Don't love it, but since we've got some time, you know what I think would be an interesting conversation? Is anybody watching? And we're not going to do a full conversation on it, but is anybody watching Paradise? And when I say Paradise, I can't remember the dude's name, but it's the guy from The Notebook and Randall from This Is Us, whom I love. And he's the main character. And it's pretty wild. I'm not going to spoil anything. And it's in the middle of the season. What's today? Does it come out today or tomorrow? I can't remember. But I really like Paradise. I really like Paradise. People are asking what's taking so long. I don't know, is the point. Emily says everything kind of moves slower over there. So is what it is. Let me see here. What else we got? Yeah, it's been dropped to 8 to 10 years ultimately on the judge. Okay. Yeah, I don't know the answer as far as what the DA has asked for, but I have heard a lot of rumblings, and this is unusual, right? Like there are so many cases where people can say like, oh, the DA should drop this. They shouldn't even go forward with it, et cetera, et cetera. And sure, fine. But there is a lot going on in this case in the background with the judge and side conversations. And Tacopina, I saw a little clip from an interview that he did where he said, I can't talk about what we talked about at sidebar, which touches on the question you just asked me, which was something like, did the judge tell the DA to go back there, and are they sure that they should keep going forward and there's no ethical issues with them continuing going forward on this case? What is the accuracy of the lawyer you know polling in the past? I would say 95%. I think one or two verdicts they've gotten wrong. One or two verdicts. And one of the ones they got wrong, I think it was like a 55-45. So those split ones are tougher, but when it's like 80-90%, I don't think they've ever missed one. Maybe one. Can't remember, but vast majority correct. And I have not always been correct. Redondo Beach. Let's not forget NBC did not have the balls to air the Harvey winding story, but thought it was appropriate for Ryan Reynolds to joke, okay. I don't even want to pretend to understand how Hollywood and mainstream media does things. I started Paradise on episode 1 so far. That might be the best episode, in my opinion. That might be the best episode. Does a prop gun shoot real bullets, or is it toy plastic gun? So I think it's real, but it doesn't actually fire real bullets. It fires blanks, but we did find out that it does eject spent shell casings, which is interesting. But the cops didn't find it, which was a good point. Peter, to make a complete and accurate record, I like both Lawyer You Know and the Know Your Lawyer guy, but you are still the best. Thank you, Chris. Okay, but have you seen Juror number 2? Yes, I have. I tweeted about it a little bit, and I talked about it, I think, on a members only live. It wasn't my favorite. Like, I thought there was a lot there they could have went with, but I would have done a different twist at the end. I don't really want to spoil it. I'll say I would have done a different twist at the end where the guy actually did it and did do it, and they show you that. I solved the murder case in the original Presumed Innocent movie way early. I agree, but I did think that one kept me on the edge of my seat more than Juror number 2 personally. Question, is the jury allowed to know what the maximum punishment is for a guilty verdict? And I think all jurisdictions, but I don't want to say all, in the vast majority of jurisdictions, and actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. There are jurisdictions where they can know. In Florida, they cannot know the penalty. I think that's what it is in California as well. My dad tried a case one time. I can't remember where it was. It was in a different state where they could know the potential penalty, which to me was wild. Absolutely wild. I'm down for the Cowboys, but if it ain't the Blues, it ain't hockey, friend. Diva Dawn's got some words for Rebecca. Well, yes, Peter, from North Dakota, sending love from negative 34 degrees. I saw in Montana, it's like negative 40. That's wild. But I guess when you're from North Dakota, you gotta have sports teams elsewhere. So I get it. Are you a North Dakota State fan? Their football team's usually pretty good, right? Thank you, Rebecca, so much. Is it significant that the jury had no questions? To me, that usually points to just whatever the most obvious verdict is. Now, people can disagree what the most obvious verdict may be. There was another question I wanted to... Peter said, ask Runkle prop guns, which are actually not pop guns. The real ones fire real bullets and blanks. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Runkle knows a billion times more than I do when it comes to that. If that's possible, a billion, whatever the highest number is, infinitely more. Not into rap and didn't follow this case. Why should it matter overall? Is it like injustice in this case? So it matters to me because, first off, when you have the power prosecutors have, I don't think this case should have even been prosecuted. And I think if it wasn't a celebrity, it may not have been. That's what I'll say. So that's why it matters. Number one, good lawyering. I think the defense lawyer did some really good things. Bad lawyering or annoying lawyering. I think there was a lot of annoying lawyering going on as well. The judge did not really control the courtroom that great. And there was a lot of kind of explosive moments. And to me, that makes for a very interesting trial. And the fact that it was the prop gun defense and self-defense and attacking the credibility of the victim defense, all really interesting. Peter, the episode that came out today of Paradise is amazing. It's getting crazy. Well, no spoilers because I have not watched it. I am watching it with my wife. Certain shows we watch on our own, so we don't have to wait for each other. She's got book club tonight, so I'm on my own. I can't watch it. I'll have to wait. Rihanna snuck around the back entrance, and she's in there. Okay. Let me see something here real quick. Let me see if Brooke is back. LACO, useless, husband, strangle in front of my kids. Do you think he's been prosecuted? Okay. That's not great, obviously. That sucks, and that would be an injustice as well. Your Karen Reed jury poll was wrong. So good point. I don't know. How do you say for hung juries? Because to me, the Karen Reed trial, among others that have ended in hung juries, we had times where there were people who thought one way, people who thought the other, but it was vast majority not guilty by the end. Let's see here. White Lotus. So I've heard it's kind of weird. I don't know. I have not watched any of that. Does Whitney introduce you as a lawyer or a YouTuber lawyer? Sometimes she says and YouTuber, I guess. Only people that introduce me as a YouTuber are usually making fun of me. They're like my buddies so they were like the first subscribers on the channel too. That I like playing golf tournaments with, work with in different offices and different vendors and things. Oh, I hear something. I hear something. I can't tell. It's not court TV. It's Law and Crime. So we're going to flip to Law and Crime. And they said they confirmed there is a verdict.
We were told they had the judicial verdicts on counts 1 and 2, and I believe the judicial assistant Alex has confirmed that. Yes. We were told they had a verdict. That's correct. Both sides ready for the jury? Yes. Yes.
I'm not pausing it, just cutting the sound. They have confirmed they have a verdict. They're looking back on the side here or the seal, and we're going to get it in a second. Where did they say the bullet hit him? Literally across the knuckles. He had like a little scrape across his knuckles, which again, and the prosecutors were like, we don't even have to prove it hit him. And it's like, okay. All right, here we go.
Foreperson. The law jurors present, all parties and counsel are present. Juror 9, you are the foreperson? Yes. And it is true that the jury has reached verdicts? Yes, Your Honor. On both counts? Yes, Your Honor. All right, you have the verdict form with you? Yes, Your Honor. All right, could you give those to Deputy Bennett? All right, what we're going to do, folks, is Deputy Bennett is going to give the verdict forms to juror number 1. Juror number 1, I want you to look at the verdict forms, and I'm going to want to know whether these verdict forms reflect your true and correct verdicts. Juror 2, I'd like you to look over her shoulder so you can review the verdict forms. And I want to know from you whether these are your true and correct verdicts. Once I've heard from both of you, give the verdict forms to juror number 3. Juror 3, look at the verdict forms. Juror 4, look over her shoulder.
This is the way of polling the jury without polling it publicly. But this is how they're going to poll the jury. Is everybody's going to look at the verdict form before they read the verdict, and then we're all going to hear what the verdict is. So a little bit backwards of how we're used to hearing it.
So ultimately, I'm going to want to hear from all 12 of you whether these verdict forms reflect your individual true and correct verdicts. Everybody understand? All right. You're going to put these two different ones.
All right. So they're looking at him now. This is basically them polling the jury. I have seen The Recruit and I love it. I love The Recruit on Netflix.
Number 1, are those your true and correct verdicts?
Here we go.
Juror number 1, are those your true and correct verdicts? Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror 3 and 4?
Yes.
Juror 5 and 6. Juror 5, are those your two correct verdicts? Yes. Juror 6? All right, let's get the verdict forms to Juror 7. Juror 8, look over your shoulder. Juror number 7, those are your two correct verdicts? Juror 7?
Yes.
Juror 8?
Yes.
9 and 10? All jurors have stated that the verdict forms reflect their individual true correct verdicts. Alex, read through.
Yes, Your Honor. The Los Angeles Superior Court, County of Los Angeles. People of the State of California versus Joaquin Mayers, case number BA 508142-01. We, the jury of the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of
Not exactly following court instructions to have no eruptions in the courtroom, but I understand man's life's on the line.
Not get the audience.
Did he just jump over the bar? That was wild.
Or this is not get the audience.
Hold it down, hold it down. Verdict has to be read up to.
I haven't really been following what this judge has had to say the entire time, so why start now?
Repeat again, we, the jury, above entitled actions, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of the semi-automatic firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony, charging count 1 of the information, this 18th day of February 2025, jury seat number 9, 4%.
Right.
Title for the cause, we, the jury, and the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of the crime of firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony of charging count 2 of the information, this 18th day of February 2025, juror seat number 9, 4%.
During this trial, I watched you periodically. You did what we
There are some. I think the judge is talking to ASAP Rocky specifically.
asked of you at the very beginning, which is to give both sides a fair trial, pay attention, use your common sense, apply the law,
All right, he's talking to the jury.
base your verdict on the evidence. I know you took extensive notes, and you took this as seriously as any jury could. We cannot have jury trials without folks like this. So you certainly have my gratitude. I want to extend to you my best wishes. Again, thank you. The admonition to not discuss the case no longer applies. You can talk about the case with anybody you want to, or nobody if you don't want to. Alex has your certificates of completion.
What does everybody think Mr. Lewin is thinking right now? How's he feeling?
You can take your juror badges with you. Thank you again. You are excused.
Everybody remain seated in the public. We're gonna let the jurors walk out first.
Mr. Mayers. All right, the jury is left. The bond is exonerated. Mr. Mayers, you're excused.
Did he salute Mr. Mayers?
You're excused.
I think he saluted Taco Pina, and look at Lewin is bolting.
Back row.
Exactly. Yeah. No, just cut off.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure we've ever seen a verdict quite like that. I don't mean to laugh. I was just truly shocked. I was truly shocked. And I see a bunch of requests for let's watch it again. we can watch it real quick. Again, I want to hit some questions. Hi, Peter. In chat, heard Joe Tacopina is going to be on TMZ tomorrow. Not 100%. Joe Tacopina is what she meant. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure that he is going to go and give some interviews. He's earned it, man. He's earned it. A huge win. Matthew Bradford, have you ever had a juror say no when being polled? I have not, but it has happened. It has happened. And from my perspective with this case, there was a lot of different angles and a lot of different things going on with Tacopina, and he really handled it well with a celebrity client, an even bigger celebrity sitting right back there, 2 kids, media stuff going on, somebody that he knew was going to not be an honest witness, structure the case in a certain way. And to me, he did a good job of the reasonable doubt and the prop gun. He didn't make it all about one necessarily putting it on that they had to believe it was in fact a prop gun, because if you can't believe Relly, it has to be not guilty. That was the smart move in my opinion. And that's how he got me. I'll just say that's how he got me. All right, we'll watch it one more time.
But your true correct verdict. If you give the verdict forms to ultimately your individual. Juror number 1, are those your 2 correct verdicts? Juror 5, 2 correct verdicts? Other?
State of California versus Joaquin Mayers, case number BA 508142-01. We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of the
Now get the audience.
Truly the wildest verdict and reaction I've ever seen. Sussex Sandra said, I'm so glad. I hope Rocky takes this as a blessing and will stop his ratchet lifestyle that he lived before and now marry Rihanna. You're the law latest KR federal court on March 5th. Yes, I saw that. I'm not going to do a breakdown of the 700-page document. Rebecca, thank you for your time. Peter, go spend some well-deserved time with your children. So here's what I'll say. If you guys find interviews with Tacopina or anybody, Lewin, anybody involved, let me know. Send them to me at Lawyer You Know on Twitter, at Tragos Law on Instagram. DM them to me. Send them to me. Yes, press conference coming, no doubt about it. So send all that to me. I will take a look at it. If you guys are interested in more breakdowns of this and on this case, let me know by liking the video and leaving it in the comment. Yes, the polls were right, not guilty. And the statistics, another one for the statistics, okay? It seemed like the most obvious verdict. It seemed like where it was going, and you had a quick verdict with no jury questions. So we can all learn from this as we continue to break down cases and watch cases together. You guys are the best. I appreciate it. Appreciate you showing up with short notice and making this a good time. So hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Emily said, presser inbound. Oh, like right now? Why is this happen to me? Oh, okay, I see it. We'll give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Actually, let's just do it tomorrow. I got Mario Kart to play. But you guys send it to me. And let me know what it is that you guys want to break down. Emily, you should come on and break down the press conference with me. But thanks for following it here. Thanks for hanging with me tonight. Till next time, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. And don't forget to check out the Lawyer You Know podcast with new seasons dropping every quarter. If you have a case you want to talk to us about, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, the Lawyer You Know.